you can't control. Running wild, can't calm down. My head is in the clouds. Gotta keep this feeling, keep on breathing, even if we're slipping away. So I close my eyes and lose myself now. Do it like it's only today. We gotta party for a lifetime. No, we ain't stopping for the sunrise. No, we don't care about the bad nights. Before a second I can feel like this. Make me feel like this. We gotta party for a lifetime. No, we ain't stopping for the sunrise. No, we don't care about the bad nights. Before a second I can feel like this. Make me feel like this. I'm on my last straw. I'm broken and I'm woken up. I'm done feeding your lies. I've had enough. I can't run your place in this faulty game. And all the words you speak mean nothing more to me. 'Cause let's start over now. Rewind. And I won't let you go. I need you by my side.
Let's take it slow. Where you go, I go too. And if you hit the bottom, I'm going down with you. Let's take it slow. Who cares where we gotta be? You know you'll have a good time wherever you're with me. Let's take it slow. don't know how. You say we're taking on water, yeah, we're sinking now. You're looking all concerned, like we're gonna drown. But we both know how to swim, no worries as we'll fall now. Let's take it slow, where you go, I go too. And if you hit the bottom, I'm going down with you. Let's take it slow, who cares where we gotta be? You know you'll have a good time wherever you're with me. Let's take it slow. I drag you out your mind, and there are days I hate you, but baby, you're still mine. And then we have the best times, no matter what we do. And even when we don't, there's nobody I'd rather choose. Let's take it slow, where you go, I go too. And if you hit the bottom, I'm going down with you. Let's take it slow. Who cares where we gotta be? You know you'll have a good time wherever you're with me. Let's take it slow, where you go, I go too. And if you hit the bottom, I'm going down with you. Let's take it slow, who cares where we gotta be? You know you'll have a good time wherever you're with me.
Back again. Hello, everyone. Thank you so much for joining me again. It is still July 31st, 2024. The time has changed, though. 9:33 p.m. on the East Coast of the United States. Bonjour, bonjour, bonjour. How's everybody doing? Had to take a little break there. Sorry, I had to make a phone call before something closed. All right. Good to see you all. Thank you once again for joining. Please hit that thumbs up button if you haven't yet already. So we are going to go ahead and get started with our mock timelines. I want to be very clear when I say this. These are just scenarios that may have happened. We are not calling anyone innocent or guilty or anything. We are just going over brainstorming in our mind with some timelines, different scenarios that could have happened. Now, the first thing we need to do is figure out which scenario we want to go with first. And we can go with Chris was home scenario, or we can go with Chris was not at home scenario. What I'll let you guys decide. Put a 1 for Chris is home, or put a 2 with Chris is not as home. Whichever one you want to do. Doesn't really matter because we're going to do both of them. And when I say home, I mean there for the weekend. One it is. One it is. Okay. One it is. All right. So these, I've done these before. These make you really, really think hard. And the reason they do is because you have to think of every aspect around the case. And okay, so we're going to do with C was home. Okay, so this is scenario 1. C was home. Okay. All right. So if he was home, what we're going to have to do is, did he leave early that day? Did he leave after something may have happened? Did he leave before something may have happened? Was there a was there before or after? He left after the fact. Okay. After the fact. Okay. All right. So we would do C left after the after something happened with S. Okay. All right. So he would have left after the incident with S. Okay. All right. So now what we have to do, Brenda says, I think he left before something happened and just made it to Memphis and just got home. Maybe. Narc drivers found a 6-year-old boy. I heard. Yeah. Hold on. Was that the boy in the pond? Is that the same one? All right. So this is what we got to think about this. Okay. If he left after the fact, what time would it be? Because remember, we're going to have to explain the 2:33 o'clock ish, assuming that's the right time. We're going to have to explain the car and the lights. at anywhere from 2:30 to 3:30. Yep. Yep. Equa searched a lot of ponds in the weekend, but left Sunday midday too early, around 3 or 4 o'clock for work. He may have. He may have. There's going to be a lot of different scenarios that we can do. What time would he have left after the fact of this scenario? Well, okay. What time did the incident happen? The reason there is because, like every case with everything in life, the digital clock was broken, but I think they have a pretty good time frame on what the time was based upon like the trash truck and when Katie went out. Okay. Justin, what time was the video of someone taking the trash out? That it was around 8 o'clock. I think it was around 8 o'clock. So the thud, right? The thud. Let's talk about the thud. Okay. Thud happened around what time? What time did our thud happen in this? I think the thud is significant and could be when the incident. I agree with that. I absolutely agree with that, Auntie. However, it's interesting to note this. The thud that Katie, she told the neighbor, one thing is that she heard Sebastian in his room make a loud sound as she was going across the kitchen, going to her bed. And that was at 11:30. Now, the thud happened in the interviews. They happened what, at 10 o'clock? Between 10 and 11? Right? 10? I think it was 10. Another plot hole is KP not saying a thing about anything she did. She did have to get dressed. Yeah. Yeah. She never said I had to get dressed or anything. And I did speak with someone and I was telling them, could you ask the neighbors, because it would have been dark at that time, if you see Katie turn on the light in his bedroom at 6 in the morning? Because if you don't see a light turn on his bedroom at 6 in the morning, that's going to be a big question, if you ask me. Because you're going to, if you're waking your kid up, you're going to go in there and say, hey, get up, like that, right? And then if you don't see him or anything, your first thing you're going to do is turn the light on. Do you watch Silver on this? No, Mike, I haven't yet. Unless, like, if it came out today, I haven't, no. Yep. Yep. She's thinking noise is some kind of proof, in my opinion. I think people have to give you a little bit of, they have to let a little bit of pressure off, I think, sometimes with telling a lie. So they'll tell a little bit about it, but they won't say. Think this was added when Sebastian was found. Yeah, well, microdot, whatever, I believe, in my opinion, whatever happened from here up. Yeah. All right. So what time did the thud happen? How did Katie see light coming from under Sebastian's door when his room is down the hall? I don't know. She said she could see a light was on in the hallway. Supposedly knowing Sebastian was still there. I've never heard of a light coming on in Sebastian's room. No. Ella Blue, that was a question. So the neighbors can see Sebastian's light on and off around, I think it was 11:30, if I remember correctly, and they can see other lights going on and off in the house. And I said the next morning when she supposedly goes in Sebastian's room and wakes him up, it's still dark at 6 a.m. at the end of February. That would, in my opinion, let us know if she, from across the street, if we could see Katie turning Sebastian's bedroom light on at 6 a.m. A lady on TikTok talked about how if you ask Siri how far Memphis Addie to Chris doorstep to doorstep is 3 hours and 37 minutes. Huh. I don't know. I haven't done that. And did she ask him if you fell out of bed? That's a good question. She did ask that. Hold on. Let me look at something here. Very interesting you asked that. Let's see here.
So the fun thing with,
oh God, 1 second. Change it to my commercial list one.
Mr. Proudfoot said,
come on, man. Okay.
He was not a quote wanderer.
I want to see a thud.
Is his room on the front of the house or the back of the house?
Front.
Do any of your neighbors' ring cams point toward your house? Could they pick that up?
They do, but it's so dark that they can only see it after it gets so dark at night. They can only see certain things where there's light.
I thought there were the two lights on
the opposite side of the house.
Okay. Can we talk about Sebastian's shoes? Why are you convinced Sebastian left without shoes on? Or are you?
We're looking for where she says the thud.
Well, the reason that came about is because all of his shoes are accounted for inside the house still.
Are you positive?
I'm positive.
How do you know what clothes he was wearing?
The clothes
Yeah.
that we described are the ones I saw him in when he went to
Yeah.
bed.
I got you. Thank you.
That
ma'am.
morning, you woke up at 6 o'clock. Is that the normal time you wake up?
Yes, ma'am.
Are you a heavy sleeper?
Off and on.
Do you take any medication at night that would make you sleep?
No, ma'am.
But you heard nothing.
I did not know.
So we know he is alive and well at 10 p.m. At 6 a.m. He's gone. You say he's never left before. Is that right?
Correct. He's never run off before.
And could I confirm, where was his bio dad at the time he went missing?
I believe he was at
That's a good point. You probably are not going to have a lot of people camping in February, Grace. You're right.
work in Nashville.
Had there been any
I want to hear what she
family
says in this
argument
interview
or altercation prior
about
to him going missing?
the thud,
No, ma'am.
about what she says here.
And Mr. Profit, when did you leave
I've
town?
got the notes, maybe I can look.
Early February.
So you had been gone for days before he went missing. Is that correct?
Correct,
Weeks.
ma'am.
Had you visited home
Katie said weeks.
since you left?
You said from when I initially left?
Yes.
Yes, ma'am. I came home February 26th, the morning I was told that he was missing.
From the time that you left for the job in Memphis to February 26th, did you visit the home?
The morning I came home, February 26th, the morning. Remember, he said, I came home February 26th, the morning I was told he was missing.
Yes, ma'am.
When?
I was home. I can't give exact dates. Law enforcement has told me not to provide exact dates.
Do you know how stupid that is? Do you really understand how stupid that sounds? Law enforcement told him not to give exact dates. What? Not give exact dates when you were home? You buffoon. It's your home. He wasn't missing. God. HIPAA.
But I had been home multiple times prior to February.
Oh, interesting, isn't it? He can tell you multiple times prior to February, but damn, can't tell you if he was he can tell you he was home up until the 5th, but after the 5th, law enforcement says I can't. Yeah, buddy. You wasn't supposed to be there for a reason. Let's spit the truth out.
And then I left early February and then didn't come back till February 26th, the morning he was missing.
So you were not home from the time you left early February till Feb 26. Is that right?
Correct, ma'am.
Where were you living in Memphis?
I have an RV trailer that I stay in at an RV park.
RV park. Okay. Following back up on that morning, you search the home, Ms. Proudfoot. Then you get in your vehicle and you start searching. Did Sebastian know how to drive?
No, ma'am.
Was your car in the same location when you woke up that morning as it was the night before?
Yes, ma'am.
Has your car been searched?
Thank you so much, Sabrina. Good evening, my dear. Appreciate you, my love. Thank you so very much. Thank you for joining us. Yes. Yes. Yep. That's what I said, Muscles. Yep. The morning I was told the morning he went I was there the morning I was told he went missing. No, he wasn't. And you know what else? Someone else made a fantastic point about Chris, lawyer and enforcement. Thank you, my dear. Thank you, thank you, thank you. Good. Appreciate you, my love. Very sweet. You know what's very interesting as well? Chris said that he spoke with law enforcement almost all morning. Remember that? Up until he got home. Remember? Remember him saying that? Well, how can you speak with law enforcement all morning when you're at work until at least 10 o'clock? Allegedly, you're at work. So you're up in the skies in a crane saying, "Mm, which one? Which one?" You can't be up there speaking on a phone. It's not against HIPAA, but it is against OSHA. That it is. On a crane, which on the phone is a big no. It is actually, it's very interesting. Someone sent me this. Where the hell was it? I'll find it. But anyway, one of my subscribers, husband is taking classes, I think, or something with a crane right now. And she sent me part of like the operational manual. There we go. Tit, yes. Tit, there we go. Yes. Yep. And she sent it to me, which I know you can't be in there until 7 a.m. anyways. I mean, just like I saved it somewhere, but I can't remember. I don't remember which one she sent it to. Oh, she sent it through Facebook. That's what it was. Facebook. Here, this is what I'll do. I got it right here. Here it is. For Justin, I'm an intern getting a bachelor's in occupational safety. My mentor has 30 years of experience and referred me to the OSHA standard regarding cell phone use in cranes. Section 1926.1417D, the operation must not engage in any practice or activity that diverts his or her attention while actually engaged in operating the equipment, such as the use of a cellular phone, other than when used for signal communications. How about that? How about that? 1 second. Someone just sent me something else. Okay. So You can't use that. You can't use that. Thank you there, Tit. Really appreciate that.
Searched by police.
Multiple
Okay.
times, yes, ma'am.
Have scent dogs looked at your
Okay. Why are they searching her car multiple times? You ever thought about that? If they don't think something was up, why are they looking at your car multiple times? I'll wait. I'll wait. Multiple times. Why are they looking at her car multiple times? That's interesting, isn't it? Because she left in it. Uh-huh. Sheila, that's what I think, actually. I think it was the bed of his truck. He's got a car wash down the street from the camper place.
car.
Yes, ma'am.
So your car's in the same place. You get in the car, you start looking in the neighborhood for him. Is that right?
Yes, ma'am.
Then you call Mr. Proudfoot, right?
Why is Chris not being brash but respectful? You see how he can turn it on and turn it off with who he wants? You see how he can turn it off and turn it on? Isn't that amazing? He's being respectful and respectful.
I believe I was already on the phone with him at that point.
You believe?
Okay. Question. Who called 911?
Nobody.
I did.
You did.
Yes,
What
ma'am.
time?
Without looking at a call log, I can't give you the exact time, but on or about 6:20.
And had you guys been talking on the phone before 6 a.m. or did you initially call Mr. Proudfoot at the time you realized Sebastian was gone?
I called him when I realized Sebastian was gone.
Have you guys been out looking for Sebastian?
Yes, ma'am.
Yes, ma'am.
We were given.
You know what? The thing, though, Truth Sleuth, that I worry about, I did not know it is so easy to actually turn the geo tracking off. Yes. Go to Reddit. It can easily be done. Can easily be done.
Information that you guys have left the home. Is that true?
Yes, ma'am.
Why?
I'm going back to work.
You're going back to work. What about you, Miss Proudfoot?
And I'm not going back to work.
So, we know at the beginning of this interview, he says his job's up in the air. And here he says he's going back to work. That's the reason they're down there. Now, Katie never had to be with him prior to this. Why are you 3.5 hours away when you don't know where your kid is, Katie? Justin and the coworker being his alibi at 5:15. I mean, which we're going to get to that timeline. 5:15 bothers me. If he was there at 5:15, either two things have to happen. Either he was absolutely not involved in any form, way, or fashion, or I can't even say that in my opinion, because if he wasn't involved at all, why would he be there an hour and 45 minutes early when he only got 3 hours of sleep? That doesn't make sense to me. If he was there at 5:15, you've only had 3 hours of sleep. Justin, the coworker's wife, worker's wife car he was supposedly working on, and the coworker gave him a 5:15 alibi. I have not heard that. If they turned the Joe Trigger off, but it had been on before. Time surroundings about that would also give. Yes. Yes. I mean, it could have been turned off. It's kind of just like the same thing we asked Chris before. Chris, when you were talking with Katie, did you just like sit the phone down and spoke to her? Were you moving with the phone? Were you going to the grocery store, to a restaurant, to a gas station? I can't answer that. Can't answer that. You can't answer if you were laying there talking to your wife or moving around. Why? Have you noticed after CP tells NG about the belt and CPS knows how KP leans over and tells CP you lied in January? That after CP tells about the belt and CPS how KP leans over. I didn't hear that. Read Vivian's comment. Yes, the coworker said he took pics of Chris working in car. At 5:15 in the morning. Yep. But yeah, I'll see if I can hear it. Why would he take pictures of Chris being at work at 5:15 in the morning? Hey, Black Skies. She don't want to stay in that house because the guilt. At the poker game when Sebastian got in trouble, that would explain. No, Heather, you know, Sebastian is seen with, the back of him getting in Katie's car on Sunday. So I don't think so, personally. They could pull geo-tracking without touching the evidence.
Not yet, at least.
Did you leave the home also, Miss Proudfoot?
Yes, ma'am.
Why?
To accompany my husband going back to work, and then I'm coming back.
Oh,
Okay.
it's like his first day of work, y'all. Isn't that sweet? That's so sweet, Katie. She's accompanying her husband 3.5 hours to a different state while her child is missing. Seriously? You couldn't have picked, like another time to accompany your husband. You hadn't seen your husband since allegedly February 5th.
Hey, when will you be
know what?
back? Do you know yet?
No, not yet.
Oh,
Are you concerned about being away while the search is ongoing?
no.
Absolutely, I am.
Then why are you going?
Because my
Exactly.
son could be anywhere, and we're looking everywhere and anywhere.
You're looking anywhere and everywhere.
I've got a
Really?
question for you.
Yes,
I want
ma'am.
to find out.
You're looking anywhere and anywhere and everywhere that's
Out
not the right
about
place,
Mr.
in my
Proudfoot
opinion. You're not even
hitting
looking.
Sebastian with a belt. What happened?
That was actually several years ago, and it
To
was
Mr. Proudfoot.
one-
To
To
Mr.
Mr.
Proudfoot.
Proudfoot.
To
To
Mr.
Mr.
Proudfoot.
Proudfoot.
Yes,
Mr.
ma'am.
Proudfoot, what
Proudfoot,
happened?
Oh, I'm sorry. I misunderstood. I thought you were asking Katie. Sebastian
Sebastian got
got in trouble. He got caught lying. And I had asked him, I said, hey, you got to have a punishment for this.
Hey.
He says, yes, sir.
Amen.
I said, okay. So I gave him a swat with a belt on his buttocks on the outside of his clothes. One swat.
What did he lie about?
I honestly, I don't remember at the time, but it was probably something dealing with school because that's majority where his issues lie.
Did he have other issues at school?
Some behavioral stuff, but nothing too crazy.
What kind of behavioral stuff?
He has a hard time. He's like awkwardly socially like blending in with students. So it's a little.
You do.
He's trying to figure out how to do it, but respecting people's space. He gets a little too close. And then kids don't really accept that too much. So it kind of causes an issue. But he'll not stop and he continues on. So then it causes an issue. And instead of being honest about it, he'll lie like, no, I didn't. Okay, Sebastian.
I tell you, every time I see that right there, I want to go through the fucking screen. I want to go through the screen. I want to be a professional diver. Mother chicken. That's what I want to do. Look at the smile on his face. Isn't he happy? Isn't he happy, Vivian? Look at that. That's the only time he gets a smile. That's the only time this mother chicken gets a smile. Look at it. He is a jerk. He got off on making this kid's life hell, in my opinion.
And then kids don't really accept that too much. So it kind of causes an issue. But he'll not stop and he continues on. So then it causes an issue. And instead of being honest about it, he'll lie like, no, I didn't. Okay, Sebastian.
We're lying about doing
Was
what?
that the first time?
What does Katie say right there? What's Katie say right there? He was lying about something. Again. Chris told a different story here. Oh, he completely told a different story. He just lied to Nancy Grace. Does Nancy is a professional prosecutor. Do you not think she doesn't do her homework? She knows the answer to almost everything before she asked. You know, she had watched every interview that these two had done. She had watched every fracking interview. And Chris told me, he's like, it's not that he forgot his belt. It's that he got in trouble because he lied about not wearing, or he lied to me about not wearing a belt. What? Neither of them deserves you putting your hands on an autistic child. And then he says, when the CPS showed up, he says, we were having dinner, and mind you, Sebastian is sitting in there because, you know, he's mad because he's being punished. Oh, so the spanking, that wasn't the punishment? That wasn't the punishment? Because, you know, it was different when we were kids. A lot of people got spanked, but that was punishment. Now, I guess he's still being punished. FBI, open up! It's crazy, man. Crazy. Thank you, Ginger Snap. My darling. Thank you, my love. Appreciate you. Trooper's mom, Sebastian, was absolutely in trouble all of the time. But I want to know what she says. What does she say under her breath?
Issue, and instead of being honest about it, he'll lie. Like, no, I didn't. Okay, Sebastian.
Or lying about doing
Was
what?
that the first time?
What does she say? He's lying about. I hear lying as well. You're putting your kid down also. Katie. Hey, Jesse, where you been? I ain't seen you in ages. Miss Good Trouble, hello. Thank you so much. Appreciate you, my love. Welcome to the family. Pearls look amazing on you and Miss Ginger Snaps. I heard he is lying about it. And lying about you was, or lying about doing, he was lying about. Let me see. Let me try this one more time. Let me slow it. I want to know this.
And instead of being honest about it, he'll lie. Like, no, I didn't. Okay, Sebastian.
Or lying about doing
Was
what?
that the first time?
Or lying about doing
Was
what?
that the first time? Was that the
Or lying about doing
Was
what?
that the first time?
Or lying about doing
Was
what?
that the first time?
Lying about something. Lying about, to me, it sounds like lying about 2 and 1 or something.
Or lying about doing
Was
what?
that the first?
Or lying about doing
Was
what?
that the first time? Was that the,
I can't understand. About doing homework. Poor kid. It's just always something. Oh, here Sebastian goes again. Is he acting up? He'll go for a little bit, That's what they'd say. He'll go for a little bit, and then, he'll fall. He'll get in trouble. Shit, I thought that's how it worked. That's how I thought it worked. Not everyone has a good day all the time, including kids. They're human beings, the same as you and I. So what the actual H? You and I, hard to walk on eggshells. I can't imagine. Can't imagine.
The first time you had ever hit him with a belt?
Yes, ma'am. The one and only time, actually.
When was that?
Ooh, that might be what it is. Was lying about you and I. That might be what it was. Why would a mom give an ish? That her kid, yeah. Exactly.
Yes.
It's ridiculous.
Years ago, ma'am.
That is not true.
Any idea how many? 3?
Listen to that.
Years ago, ma'am.
No, Chris.
Any idea how
Look
many?
at him. Look
3,
at him.
10, 1?
It probably at least 3 years ago.
I don't understand how that turned into a CPS or Child Protective Services complaint. How were they alerted that you hit him with a belt?
That did not turn into a CPS service call.
There were other CPS reports, right? Were they regarding your other child?
There is one in regards to my daughter that I know of out in New Mexico with my ex-wife and myself.
What happened?
Oh,
Uh,
listen. Abso-freaking-lutely. They were not there alone. 100% on that one. They were not there alone. You can hear the Bauer foot, up chucking her phlegm, whatever she's doing. You can hear her. She coughs. Maybe queefs, but we'll say cough.
At the time, my ex-wife had fled to New Mexico with my daughter. We're going through a custody and a divorce case at that time. And at the time, when I'd call and try to check in on my daughter, I could never reach my ex-wife at that time. So a welfare check was requested.
He looks like the guy on. He looks like the guy on Men in Black 1. Sugar water. Give me more sugar water. And I'm going to make him I'm going to do a little video on that. Note to self.
Law enforcement told me to call CPS if I had concerns. So I called CPS. Law enforcement did make a welfare call, and that was it.
Sugar water. I want some
Then
more
how
sugar
does that
water.
turn into a CPS complaint against you?
I have no idea, ma'am. There's a lot of misinformation out there right now in regards to my New Mexico case that actually has no relevance to the Sebastian case.
Then was there even a CPS complaint against you in New Mexico?
Not that I am aware of. And my attorney and myself are well educated on my case, and there's nothing that we know of.
Was there a TRO taken out against you regarding your daughter?
Not a TRO, but a TPO.
A temporary protective order. Why was that taken out?
So in regards to that case, my ex-wife had a TPO put against her in Tennessee at the time. When we went to court, that got dissolved. I was ordered to hand my daughter back over to my ex-wife at the time. She gets in a truck. She fleds to New Mexico. 2 days later, she files one in retaliation.
Sugar water.
Is it still in place?
No, ma'am. That was dropped within, I think, 2 weeks of it being put in place.
More sugar.
I've got a question about the belt incident. You're telling me that was the only time that you ever hit Sebastian with a belt?
Yes, ma'am.
And you're also telling me that did not make it to CPS?
No, ma'am, that did not.
Question.
Yes, ma'am.
Regarding Faith's furniture.
Yes,
a few
ma'am.
days after Sebastian goes missing, did you replace furniture in Faith's room?
Yes.
No, ma'am, I have not replaced any furniture in my daughter's room.
Is there any new furniture in the home?
Yes.
Yes, ma'am. There's a bed that was given to me, and it's currently in my garage.
Has anything been taken out of the home?
No, ma'am.
I was curious about a statement that Miss Proudfoot made earlier that canine dogs hit on the barn around the home and near a retention pond. Did that happen?
I'm not sure about the barn, but the retention pond, yes.
Because law enforcement says the dogs did not hit. But Miss Proudfoot says they did hit around the retention.
All right. This is coming from News Channel 5. Posted at 5:59 p.m. on February 28th, 2024, updated on March 1st. Let me find it. Here it is. This is the 4th day of the search, and there haven't been any confirmed sightings of Sebastian, authorities said Thursday afternoon in a press conference rather. Scent dogs have not led authorities anywhere. They are using drones, dogs, aircrafts, or, as they said, anything at our disposal. There has been no scent leading anywhere. Why does Chris want to constantly talk about going over to that pond? Now, it is true that there was a dog or two, but I don't think it was Sebastian's scent, as I believe it was a scent. And in my opinion, it is said scent right here.
Pond.
So there's been a lot of miscommunication in regards to what is and what is not. To help clear that up,
2 out of 18.
Law enforcement has actually spoken directly with me, showed me a few things. What I can tell you is from day one, there was 5 dogs that started the scent for the search.
Mm-hmm.
And then after that, from the next 8 days out from that, there have been dogs from all over the country that have come in and done searches and had scent hits in various locations.
Scent hits. I just now realized what he said right there. Said the first few days there was 5 dogs, and then after that there was several dogs that got hits at various locations. That is not true at all. I just now caught that.
Dogs that started the scent for the search. And then after that, from the next 8 days out from that, there have been dogs from all over the country that have come in and done searches and had scent hits in various locations.
In various locations. That's not happened. That has not happened at all. At all. Oh, thank you, Truth Sleuth, my dearie. Thank you, my love. Appreciate it. Justin, didn't CP say in an earlier interview that CPS was called because Sebastian told his teacher? Yep. Yes. Hit him with the belt. Yes. Yep. And yes. And he said in this interview that he can't remember, but it was probably to do something with school. But he made it crystal clear on Smiley's, right? That's interesting. He says there was hits in various locations. What does that even mean? Various locations. I never realized he said
but
that.
I would say a certain percentage of them
time.
tend to go toward the
Hold
same.
on.
I would say a certain percentage of them tend to go toward the same spot, which would have been a retention pond. Tend to go toward the same. I would say a certain percentage of them tend to go.
He was going to say majority. Then he said he was going to say and then he says a certain percentage of them. Listen to that.
Toward the same. I would say a certain percentage hits in various locations, but I would say a certain percentage of them.
You hear he was going to say majority.
Various locations, but I would say a certain percentage of them tend to go toward the same spot, which would have been a retention pond.
It's very misleading. A certain percentage of them. A certain percentage. Why don't you just say the number, Chris? And there was no other various scents anywhere else. Who does he think he's talking to here? He's talking to Nancy Grace. Henny. Get with it.
So the law enforcement dogs did not hit on the retention pond. Is that what you're saying?
No, I'm saying they did. There was at least 3 that I know for a fact that did hit on the retention pond.
Was there 3? I thought there was 2. Justin, my gut said since they run retention pond has gave me cold chills. I don't know why. I think he was talking to a female. Yes. I believe that maybe 2 or 3 of the dogs went to the retention pond because of a scent from the house, not because it was Sebastian's scent. Maybe it was a familiar or a family scent. I don't know. Justin, I just noticed that Mrs. Sox cough at CP to keep him on track, just like he does with KP to keep her. Interesting.
Tend to go and done searches and had scent hits in various locations, but I would say a certain percentage of them tend to go toward the same spot, which would have been a retention pond.
So the law enforcement dogs did not hit on the retention pond. Is that what you're saying?
No, I'm saying they did. There was at least 3 that I know for a fact that did hit on the retention pond.
And the pond has been drained, correct? And there was nothing there.
Yes, ma'am. They have walked it, drained it, and there's nothing. The retention pond was only knee deep anyways.
On one occasion, Mr. Proudfoot, you stated that you and Mrs. Proudfoot have been, quote, vetted and cleared of foul play. That was stated on Chronicles of Olivia. Is that true? What do you mean by that?
Yes. So after working with law enforcement of all agencies, they have actually told us that there is no foul play, no nefarious issues. We've been cleared of all wrongdoing. We are working extremely cooperative with all law enforcement agencies at any point in time that they've called, come to the house, anything.
Was Sebastian angry or upset before he disappeared?
No, ma'am.
Not to my knowledge.
What is your theory about where is Sebastian?
I wish I knew where he was, to be honest.
Your theory.
Yep.
Theory.
I think it's possible that someone has my son.
Boy, that's interesting. That's interesting. I think someone has my son now because he walked out the door. I don't know why he walked out that door.
Why?
Because I feel like if he had been close to the house or had walked off, that we would found him by now with as many people as we had searching.
Yeah, I agree with that. But I don't believe he's with someone. I believe he's with God because of someone.
Have you checked his social media?
He doesn't have social media.
Have you checked his phone?
His phone has been thoroughly checked. Yes, ma'am.
Have you handed your phones to police, both of you?
Yes, ma'am.
Exactly.
Yes, ma'am, we have.
Has police searched all of your devices, your laptop, your iPad, everything?
Everything. Yes, ma'am.
Other than you, Miss Proudfoot, who is the last person that saw or heard
Me too.
Sebastian
Exactly,
alive
Rhonda.
the Sunday before he went missing?
2 of his aunts, a cousin, and the staff where we had dinner.
And that was at BJ's the night before or the bowling alley?
So BJ's, and then we went to the bowling alley, and then after the bowling alley, we went to dinner before coming home.
I want to
Hold
follow
on.
up again
Wait a
on
second. Hold on.
the
And then we went to
is the night before or the bowling alley?
So BJ's, and then we went to the bowling alley, and then after the bowling alley, we went to dinner before coming home.
BJ's, then the bowling alley. What? Didn't they come home and then go to the bowling alley? What?
The staff where we had dinner.
And that was at BJ's the night before or the bowling alley?
So BJ's, and then we went to the bowling alley, and then after the bowling alley, we went to dinner before coming home.
I thought, yeah, it was they brought their groceries home. Then they came home. They brought their groceries home. They went to a neighbor's for like 5 minutes somewhere. And then they went to dinner and then they came home. That's a new. I just got that too. Interesting. Thank you, Drew. Love you too, my dear. Thank you for your support. Chris learned his throat again. Yes. Did you hear the cough when she answered that? Yes. Hold on.
Who is the last person that saw or heard Sebastian alive the Sunday before he went missing?
Two of his aunts, a cousin, and the staff where we had dinner.
And that was at BJ's the night before or the bowling alley?
So BJ's, and then we went to the bowling alley, and then after the bowling alley, we went to dinner before coming home.
Okay. Thank you, True Sleuth. According to the interview with Olivia, order of events, Katie says Sunday she got up, made breakfast. We had a good time. We were laughing and joking. He talked to his family on the phone during breakfast to brag. We went and picked up our niece. Chris nods his head in agreement and said, yesterday. Yeah, I got a call and I asked if I could pick her up, and I did. We went and did that. We went to BJ's, came home, put away groceries, went bowling, and went to dinner. There you go. There you go. Changed again. There you go. Learn something new today. There you go. There you go. Dang. I knew. I just. That's. Wow. She got up, made breakfast. They had a good time. We were laughing and joking. He talked to his family on the phone. He wanted to brag. We went and picked up our niece. Chris nods his head. Yeah, I got a call and asked if I could pick her up, and I did. We went and did that. We went to BJ's, came home, put away groceries, went bowling, and then went to dinner. Mm-mm-mm.
I want to follow up again on the dogs hitting. Earlier, Ms. Prophet had stated the dogs hit around the house, the barn, and at the retention pond. Is that correct?
I don't know about the barn, but I do know that they did track to the pond.
What's that?
Yes. I know about the barn.
At the retention pond. Is that correct?
What's Katie's eyes?
I don't know about the barn.
Is that correct?
I don't know about the barn.
Is that correct?
I don't.
Barn and at the retention pond. Is that correct?
I don't know about the barn.
Well, we see where Chris gets his grunt from. The grunt. The bond. The bond. The barn. Do you have the video of Sebastian at the bullying? I don't, Heather. They have whooping cough. That's so funny.
The barn, but I do know that they did track to the pond. Yes.
Did the dogs also hit around the house?
Yes, ma'am.
On the outside of the house?
Yes, ma'am.
Were they?
So they say the dogs hit outside of the house. Okay.
Scent dogs or cadaver dogs?
They brought in both cadaver and
Oh yeah.
Tracking dogs.
Which dog hit? A cadaver dog or a scent dog?
Scent dog.
It's all been scent dogs that have hit. The cadaver dogs have not hit on anything that we know of.
What do you believe Sebastian was wearing when he disappeared? And would that have been what he slept in?
Yes. So the clothes, the black sweatpants with the white stripes and the long sleeve black shirt, that is what he went to bed in. And the reason that I believe he was still wearing those clothes is because when we searched, I did not find those clothes in the house. So I have to assume that that's what he was still wearing.
What was he wearing? He was wearing a different shirt. Yeah, no showers. He was wearing a different shirt at. Said there were no hit by the dogs. Yes. But Seth said that he was wearing a different shirt, but I believe it was the same pants when he saw him on camera. Yes. Doesn't CP say the exact same thing about the barn and the pond earlier in the same interview? Yep. Sure does. I'm trying to remember what, because a green shirt. Okay. So Sebastian would have had to have changed shirts from the restaurant to home. He would have had to have. Now, the pants, no, didn't change.
I'm sorry, I couldn't hear you. Did you say that's what he wore when he went to bed?
Yes, ma'am.
Joining us right now, in addition to Katie Proudfoot and Chris Proudfoot, the bio mom and stepdad of Sebastian, an all-star panel. First to Brian Trasher joining us, Vice President of the Cajun Navy, who has joined barefoot. There would definitely have been a scent trail. Now we're hearing from
Exactly. If he was barefoot or with socks, there would have definitely been a scent trail. Right?
the Proudfoots that there was a hit around that retention pond. How far is that pond from your home, Mr. Proudfoot?
Less than probably half a mile if you walk the whole path.
Is it through wooded area? Would he have had to walk through the woods to get there?
No, ma'am. You can actually walk either the main road or the subdivision. So the construction site is a subdivision, new addition that's being built, and they have a road that's going to be tied into our subdivision. So you could actually walk up that way, or you could walk to the main road and walk into it.
Did Sebastian ever sleepwalk?
No, ma'am.
No. Cynthia, welcome, my dear. Thank you for renewing. Appreciate you, my love. Thank you. Another interview, Katie said black sweatpants and black hoodie. And yes, they finally, I guess, got it down to a baby Yoda. I'm not familiar with Star Wars, so I don't know anything about it.
So he would have had to leave the house undetected by Katie and walk all the way to that retention pond. Did the dogs follow the trail a half a mile?
Yes, ma'am.
Not with his scent. Again, I will refer you back to the press conference Also, News Channel 5, whenever they say this is the 4th day of the search and there haven't been any confirmed sightings of Sebastian, sent trained dogs have not led authorities anywhere. They are using drones, dogs, aircrafts, anything at their disposal. You just made it sound like Chris and Katie to Nancy that they got his scent and followed Sebastian's scent to a pond. Now, even if it was Sebastian's scent, what did he do? I mean, fly from the pond? It wasn't his scent. They have made this extraordinarily clear. Listen to what Nancy says right there.
No, ma'am.
Listen.
So he would have had to leave the house undetected by Katie and walk all the way to that retention pond. Did the dogs follow the trail a half a mile?
Yes, ma'am.
They followed the trail all the way to that retention pond?
Yes, ma'am.
Yes, ma'am.
That's very curious, as they are saying the dogs didn't pick anything up. Back to you, Brian.
How about that? How about that? Nancy, that's very curious because they're telling us that there was nothing. And you're telling that there was. Isn't that something?
Brian Trasher, did you guys search anywhere other than that federal property where the false positive was? Yes, no.
Look at
No.
him.
Joining me is Courtney Lasky, high-profile behavior analyst, autism expert, chief clinical officer with Little Starts Therapy. Courtney, thank you for being with us. At this juncture, we know Sebastian to be most likely with people he doesn't know, if in fact he is still alive. How would that affect a young boy with autism?
It would affect him greatly. Based on the diagnosis of autism, we know that they typically have deficits with communication, social skills, and they display some rigid and repetitive behaviors. If, in fact, he is with someone else who does not know in behavior, he could be like an individual 36% get away from something.
Does he know your phone number? Can he call you if he could get access to a phone?
We have gone over my phone number. I don't know that in a high stress time he would remember it, but yes, I have taught him my phone number.
Was he ever allowed to go visit friends' homes?
He didn't get invited, but had he been, yes, we have had play dates in the past.
I would not have said that if I were Katie. That breaks my heart for Sebastian. Really breaks my heart. Yeah, Edgar. He didn't get invited. Exactly. Or was that? Exactly, Kim. Exactly. High stress living with her. Terrible.
Would he go there on foot?
No, ma'am.
Joining me now is Lauren Conlon, investigative journalist, host of the Outlier podcast, host of Corruption, What Happened to Grant Solomon. And you can find her at laurenconlon.com. Lauren, thank you so much for being with us. What can you tell me about that stretch of road, if anything, between Sebastian's home and that retention pond?
Well, look, Nancy, I mean, I think like everything else about this case, it is very confusing because the public hasn't heard much from the police. We haven't heard much from the Proudfoots, obviously, when it comes to that, or Seth Rogers. And now I'm learning a lot here as I hear Chris Proudfoot say, okay, we
to Mr. and Mrs. Proudfoot. Much has been made. I'll ask you. You very often look away, don't look at who's asking you questions, show no emotion. Much has been made of that. And I'd like to hear your response. I'm not judging one way or the other. I'd like to hear your response.
So the fact of not looking at the camera all the time is because a picture of my son is sitting beside me, and I'm looking at him. As far as the crying thing, I have been crying off and on nonstop for a month.
Many people have asked me, why did Miss Proudfoot not call 911 immediately?
Exactly.
And here's your chance to answer that.
Because by the time I realized my son was missing and I called my husband, at that point I was hysterical. I was at the point where I couldn't even form words anymore, and my husband is the one who remained calm enough to call them.
And to be honest with you, Miss Grace, the way we live outside of city limits, so you don't call 911 because you get routed to a dispatching hub who asks what's your location, and then they route you to another dispatcher to talk to give this story. I cut all of that out and I called straight to the sheriff's department because they have jurisdiction of where we live. So sorry that I decided to bypass a few steps and go straight to the source, where they responded within 10 minutes of the phone call being made.
Miss Proudfoot, that evening.
Yes. Yeah, it's they live so far out in the country. It's like Morse code, trying to get a freaking operator on the line. So, yeah, you dial 911 and they say, 911, where's your emergency? Oh, okay. You're in Hendersonville. Hold on. Let me transfer you. If they do that. 911, what's your emergency? Except you called a line. Welcome to the Hendersonville Police Station. If this is an emergency, please hang up and dial 911, mother chicken. There is no reason. I have never heard of anyone not dialing 911 except for Don and Candace and Chris and Katie. Very interesting, isn't it? It's also very interesting. There is a vehicle outside at 3 o'clock in the morning and people walking in the backyard. And then a person running back to the home, but they say that's nothing. That's nothing. And they weren't there within 10 minutes if you're giving the correct times of the calls, Chris, because you said it was 6:22 whenever you called. They didn't get there in 10 minutes if you called at 6:22. They got there after 7 a.m. So that's a problem. There shouldn't be all of these things in the way, right? It shouldn't be all this stuff in the way. If he walked out, he should have been seen on camera. Period. Something. Justin, just know that's a weird dispatch time because I've never had it taken that long. No. No. Nope. Mm-hmm. And then he says, I was on the phone pretty much the whole time. Pretty much the whole time. And then Katie says, he told me to get home. Why? Because to hurry up, they were on their way. Yep. Good thing, Brenda. Yeah. To hurry up and say that they're on their way. Well, if you're on the phone with them and you're both on the phone with them and you're, can still drive and also be on the phone with your husband, why did he need to tell you to hurry up? They're on their way. You're on the phone with them. There shouldn't be this many red flags all around here, right? If Sebastian did leave at some point, right? I'm sure he would have taken his shoes, number one. And if he had, that's a big red flag, right? Supposedly locked the door behind him. He's not seen on camera. He doesn't have a scent. There is people coming in. There's a vehicle coming into the neighborhood. Ironically, there's a flashlight or two coming toward the vehicle, but they say it's nothing to see here. But God forbid, your kid ran away and you was in their shoes, right? And you said he may have taken a flashlight. That's the only thing I can't find, right? And you see this flashlight a few days after you said that. But they say, nope, we wished it was something, but it's nothing. Wish it was something, but it's nothing. Replay what, Miss Panthers? Is having all kinds. Replay what was it? Miss Panthers said someone said I wish Justin would replay that. Replay what? He said to give the story, not to give the info. Oh, really?
We live. So
where did he say that?
The way we live outside of city limits, so you don't call 911.
Where did he say that at? That's interesting. Wow. That's very, very interesting.
My son was missing, and I called my husband at that point. I was hysterical.
Judging one way or the other. I'd like to hear your response.
To the fact of not looking at the camera all the time is because a picture of my son is sitting beside me, and I'm looking at him. As far as the crying thing, I have been crying off and on nonstop for a month.
Many people have asked me, why did Miss Proudfoot not call 911 immediately? And here's your chance to answer that.
Because by the time I realized my son was missing and I called my husband, at that point I was hysterical. I was at the point where I couldn't even form words anymore, and my husband is the one who remained calm enough to call them.
And to be honest with you, Miss Grace, the way we live outside of city limits, so you don't call 911 because you get routed to a dispatching hub who asks what's your location, and then they route you to another dispatcher to talk to give this story. I cut all of that out and I called straight to the sheriff's department.
That's a very interesting thing right there. To give the story. To give the story. To give the story. Sugar water. Sugar water. Boy, that's interesting. We've learned a lot. Wow. Yeah, my kid got kidnapped, but don't mind the people in the backyard. Nothing to see here, right? Nothing to see here. Great catch, Mini Panther. Yes. To give the story. Yeah, he's trying to look honest. Yeah. Absolutely, Roxy. Absolutely. Do I think Katie is grieving? I absolutely do. I absolutely do. But I believe she knows more. And she's also having to keep it straight.
Because they have city limits, so you don't call 911 because you get routed to a dispatching hub who asks what's your location, and then they route you to another dispatcher to talk to give this story. I cut all of that.
There you go. Chris had to give a story verbatim with the notes, and mommy in tow in the trailer there, that camper. Telling you, man. Yep. Yep, Sheila. Yep.
That out, and I called straight to the sheriff's department because they have jurisdiction of where we live. So sorry that I decided to bypass a few steps and go.
You know what's so amazing about this? You know what's so amazing about this is, in my opinion, Chris is there's so much arrogance there, but when he's caught, he still has to give you this sarcasm, and like he is the one doing the right thing. So sorry if I cut out a few steps for my wife. I mean, let's be honest here. When you call 911, the reason it's only 3 numbers is because it's not meant to be complicated. You answer, you dial the number, and it's, how can I help you? That's all it is. It's not meant to be complicated. It's 3 digits. Where are you at? That's all. But sorry, I cut out this great big thing so it wouldn't be so, complicated for my wife, who's 3.5 hours away from me, allegedly, and who called me and who allegedly remained on the phone the entire time, also while she is driving a 5,000-pound vehicle through the neighborhood, down the road to where the school is, and back. I get it. If your kid is missing, you would be hysterical. But that is what it is for. When something happens, you call. You call a non-emergency number. You know what I think he did? I think he called somebody he knew and was like, "Hey, buddy, I need to tell my wife just called and she said our stepson she can't find him." Right? I think it was something like that. That's what I think it was. And he's like, "Well, you need to hang up and call 911." Uh, can you call it in or do something? Help me out here. Can you give him my number or give him my address and tell him to head that direction? Betcha. Betcha. Barbara C., thank you so very much, my beautiful pearl, for 2 months. Thank you, love. Really do appreciate it. And thank you again, Barbara. Very sweet of you. Thank you so much for your support, my dear. They didn't call 911 because the calls they're recorded. And they also I don't know. Something is wrong.
Straight to the source, where they responded within 10 minutes of the phone call being made.
Nope.
Miss Proudfoot, that evening,
They do know your location.
were you drinking?
No, ma'am.
Had you used any type of drug at all, even OTC, over the counter?
No, ma'am.
And you had no argument with Sebastian that night?
No, ma'am.
You stated you put the dogs away into a crate before you went to bed. Is the crate located near the exit, near a door?
No, ma'am.
Would the dogs have barked if there had been an intruder or if Sebastian had left?
The dogs don't typically bark at me and Sebastian because they're used to us. Even if we get up, we come around, they don't typically bark. Strangers, they do tend to bark, at least for a minute or two to get attention. But no, ma'am, they don't typically bark at Sebastian and myself or Christopher.
What kind of dogs are they?
Morkies.
Morkies. Whenever, let me tell you something. If you drop anything in your home in the middle of a night and you have a small dog, it's first thing. Katie and Chris have both stated this. whenever Chris is out of town, she sleeps with the dogs, or the dogs sleep with her. But that night, she says she put them up in the sunroom. I would say probably the washroom that night, but I digress. I would say the washroom. Yeah. Yeah, Chris could not have dialed 911 because, well, let me just say it like this. If Chris was at work, he could not have dialed 911. If he was anywhere around Hendersonville, he could have dialed 911, but he wouldn't have wanted to dial 911 because why? Because they would know where he was at. Right? They would have known where he's at. I got 4 German Shepherds. When I get up to potty in the middle of the night, you would think I was the boogeyman. Yes. Bingo. Justin, when she says he would creep around the corner, we've all done that with our kids, right? Did it seem like he wasn't just allowed to freely roam and help himself to snacks at 15? Well, Chris said he was a bottomless pit. Hey, Nana, good to see you. There's no excuse for Katie not calling 911. There's none. It's just another red flag. It's another red flag. If you call, right, if you would call an emergency for someone else, they're going to say, okay, are they incapacitated? Right? And you would say, no. Okay, well then I need to speak with them. I need to speak with them. As long as they are not incapacitated, no matter if you're hysterical or not, you need to speak with them. Katie loves the smell of Swiss cheese. She probably smells like a sharp cheddar and herbal essence.
Question: where is their crate located?
In the area near my sunroom.
Over by the kitchen.
Your son's. Okay, hold on. Is it outside your son's room?
No, ma'am. Not Sebastian's room. Son, yeah, yes, ma'am.
The sunroom, and that's not near the door.
No, ma'am.
Not near the front door.
It's near my back door, but not any of the other doors.
Yes, from what I've seen the layout of the home, it is near the back door, and they would have heard someone coming in and out that back door, correct?
Correct, Nancy. Justin, did Bobby have a comment on him calling the sheriff? Is that what she would have done? I can't remember. Bobby said when you call 911, there's no transferring or anything of that nature. It's 911. What's your emergency? Okay. Do you need medical, fire, right? All right, what's your address? All right, we'll get them right out. Thank you. Bye-bye. They all know that. They all say they're not telling the truth. It's ridiculous. Ridiculous.
Yes, ma'am.
Yes, ma'am.
No barking. Do you have a chime or anything on your doors that would alert you to the door opening?
No, ma'am.
Great comment. Jen Soto never made one of the 3 calls about Maddie, but was answering the questions conveyed by the person making the call. But was answering the questions conveyed by the person making the call. Who was it?
Miss
Stephanie?
Grace, could I jump
Question.
in for something?
Yes, please. And I want to follow up with a question
Yes.
regarding Miss Proudfoot's polygraph. But please, Lauren, jump in. Everybody on
Thank
the
you.
panel. Now is the time to ask the Proudfoots any question that may shed light on what has happened to Sebastian. We are not in a judging arena. We are in a fact-finding arena.
So, Benson says, aren't security systems tied to police department? Yes, they are. You can hit different buttons on your security system and you press it and it will send you to 911. It sends them a code that you need. There's an emergency button, right? You press it. And then all it does is automatically call 911 for you. That's all it does. That's all it does. It sends them a code. And they will speak to you through your security system. They'll be like, bring security. Is everything okay? And if everything is okay, you'll give them your password. They'll say, what's your password? And you'll say 1234 or whatever your password is. Right? Or like if you don't get to your door in time and hit the code in, they'll say, bring security. Hello. And you'll be like, oh, sorry, I didn't get to the door in time. And they'll say, okay, can you tell me your passcode? And you'll tell them your passcode. My eye is itching. And that's basically what it is. Also, if your smoke alarm ever goes off, many times they will check before they send someone out. They'll be like, hi, are you okay? And you'll be like, yeah, I just was cooking something. They're like, okay, need your passcode. It's not like Katie doesn't do this for a living, right? Nancy asked, what do you do, Katie? I'm an installation technician. Oh, what do you install? Bathtubs? What do you install? Right? An installation technician. I wish Nancy would have been like, install what? Right? But the system was broken. Another red flag, premeditated. Well, what's another red flag is right after Sebastian went missing, they got a what? A new security system. Do you think Chris is the type of person for him to be, as, in my opinion, as controlling as he is, that he would not have some sort of cameras inside? You know, a lot of the cameras, you can speak to whomever. You can speak to them from your phone or whatever, you know, you have some sort of internet or cellular device, and they can speak to you. You know, even Nina said, well, Chris, you have cameras inside. So
we can then assimilate the facts and make deductions. Please jump in. Lauren Conlon is joining me. You can find her at Lauren Emily Conlon. Go ahead.
Yes, thank you. And now this might be for Brian as well. Yesterday, when the dogs hit and everybody's going crazy, YouTubers, internet, TikTokers, and we figure out it's not Sebastian and police are not involved, the TBI is not involved. Did you call the Proudfoots and let them know that this was not Sebastian? Did you tell them ahead of time that you were searching these areas? Did they know what you were doing, or was this specifically just through Seth Rogers?
Hey, Don.
Yeah, so Seth Rogers is Sebastian's biological father, correct?
Yes.
Yeah, so he was there, and as Ms. Grace alluded to earlier, it would not have been typical or possibly even probable that he could have skeletonized after only a few weeks. So I'm not sure about the Proudfoots, but his father definitely did know. I also wanted to echo what Miss Nancy said earlier about the police. One of the reasons we got called in, there was a lot of social media personalities reaching out to us, kind of complaining that they didn't feel like the police were doing enough. But really, it's just what Miss Nancy said. It's that they're not under obligation to give daily or every other day updates. They are doing an investigation. We have been in very close contact with TBI, and I can tell everybody with 100% certainty, they are on top of it. They are not letting their foot off the gas at all on the search for Sebastian or trying to find out what happened to him. The YouTubers and TikTokers that do live stream probably do the most harm. We appreciate the attention that they bring to things, but when you do a live stream, you don't have any control over what gets seen by potentially the entire world. So we would.
What's up? Thank you so much. Did we ever finish his VoIP phone system? No. I can tell you, Chris, Katie, Bowerfoots, all have VoIP numbers. Also, on February 6th, 2024, there was a home line and there was a home, I gotta remember this, I've got the information. There was a home line disconnected, and I believe, don't quote me on this one though, I'm pretty sure, but I don't want to tell you 100% certainty, 2 cell phones, 2 disconnected. Tori, thank you so very much for becoming a new Pearl, my dear. Appreciate you, love. Where was you? I don't know. Did you see CP's reaction before Cajun guy answered? I think he wipes his face with his hand and looks sick. Oh, really?
That
Tell them ahead of time that you were searching these areas. Did they know what you were doing, or was this specifically just through Seth Rogers?
Yeah, so Seth Rogers is Sebastian's biological father, correct?
Yes.
Yeah, so he was there, and as Ms. Grace alluded to earlier, it would not have been typical or possibly even probable that he could have skeletonized after only a few weeks. So I'm not sure about the Proudfoots, but his father definitely did know. I also wanted to echo what Miss Nancy said earlier about the police. One of the reasons we got called in, there was a lot of social media personalities reaching out to us, kind of complaining that they didn't feel like the police were doing enough. But really, it's just what Ms. Nancy said. It's that they're not under obligation to give daily or every other day updates. They are doing an investigation. We have been in very close contact with TBI, and I can tell everybody with 100% certainty they are on top of it. They are not letting their foot off the gas at all on the search for Sebastian or trying to find out what happened to him. The YouTubers and TikTokers that do live stream probably do the most harm. We appreciate the attention that they bring to things, but when you do a live stream, you don't have any control over what gets seen by potentially the entire world. So we would, we can't tell people what not to do. They have free speech. It's their own accounts they're using. Not helpful to do live streams during searches like that. If you want to do it, do a video that you could potentially edit later, so that we cut down on the amount of misinformation. That's why social media is not necessarily a house. We go in and do search and rescue. You have to trust the process, like we do. We trust law enforcement is going to have this wrapped up probably very soon.
Brian, however, I want to make sure that you are not encouraging citizen sleuths to stop looking, because I've had many cases where we put out the warning and they actually spot a missing person. I mean, I only have to point to Gabby Petito, whose remains were found in dispersed camping way out west by a citizen who had heard.
Bingo, Nancy. Thank you for that, by the way. Brinks does security camera systems. They do not get free service being an employee, but they do get a discount. Someone just sent me something, but I also have they changed it, I believe, in 2015 or 2018. Used to get free service up until then, from what I understand. But you do get discounted. Katie and Chris brought in the Cajun Navy, then they followed Elite and Seth. I don't think. Yeah. Right. Let me find this right here.
I was
Proudfoot. This is Sebastian's biological mother, Miss Proudfoot. What questions were you asked during your polygraph?
I was asked if I knew where my son was. I was asked if I hurt him. I was asked if I had hurt someone, among a few other questions.
And Mr. Proudfoot, you have volunteered to take a poly?
Yes, ma'am.
If I were to set up a poly for you, would you take it?
Name the place and time, ma'am. I'll be there.
And you're headed back to Memphis right now. Are you in your RV right now?
I am in my RV. We are not disclosing our current location just because of safety reasons, due to the YouTubers, the Facebookers out there that have sent some very heinous, threatening information and things of that nature, threatening to be outside of our house, all kinds of nasty things. So we're not disclosing our location at this time, unless you're law
Ms.
enforcement.
Proudfoot, is
or
that
you need to
one
know.
of the reasons you left the home?
One of them, yes, ma'am.
Question to you guys. When police came in and processed your home, did they look with, for instance, luminol? Did they check? What did they do when they searched your home?
They thoroughly searched my home with many different things. They removed some things for the dogs to hold the scent, and for Sebastian's DNA. I know that they used thermal
night
vision. Thank you. And I don't know exactly all of the tools that they use, but I do know that
thermal night vision. Thermal night vision. Could that be why someone was outside? Thermal night vision, that they were. Could that have been police? Thermal night vision.
multiple different searches were done on my home by many different people, detectives.
Multiple different searches. That doesn't sound like a child that walked out by himself, does it? Do you? Does that sound like they're looking for a child that walked out by themselves if they are checking this home multiple times, if they're checking these cars multiple times, if they're checking a landfill? Doesn't to me.
Sheriffs and a few others.
Yeah, I'm not gonna. I wouldn't swear that the forensics folks showed up or not, because there were so many folks in and out of the house that it was just, hi, I'm so and so with law enforcement. I'm so and so with law enforcement. Okay.
Every time they've said we need to look, or please do.
Does Sebastian have a hardwood floor or a carpeted floor?
In his bedroom,
Carpet.
Yes. Carpeting.
Carpet.
Did they remove any carpeting?
No, ma'am.
Do you feel confident they searched his bathroom?
They did.
Yes, ma'am, they did.
When you state that they removed items for the scent dogs, what did they take?
Clothing, a blanket that he used like every day, and a few other items of his, toiletries, like his brush.
Lauren Collin joining us, investigative journalist. Lauren, again, thank you for being with us. And earlier you were hearing sound from WSMV4. I understand you have another question.
Oh, I mean, I guess I didn't quite get the clarity I wanted, in the sense that, did the Proudfoots know that this search was going on with the Cajun Navy? Were they being called? Were you guys being alerted about this? Did you hear from a YouTuber that they found something, that the the search dog started jumping? Or, were you just kind of blind to all of this? Just, over in your corner doing your search?
No, ma'am. So here, to set that record straight and help the United Cajun Navy. So somebody's got a picture out there saying that we're enjoying a dinner, when we're actually out there, got flyers at a dinner table because we need to eat. My wife was on the phone with the Cajun Navy. That's how the Cajun Navy was brought in. And we talked to the president of the United Cajun Navy. He put us in touch with their team that was here locally in Nashville. Then that young lady reached back out to us, gave us some more information. We gave her some more details. Then they said they would start a search, but we also had them get in direct contact with the TBI agent, as well as Sumner County's Sheriff's Department. We provided all that information. They reached out to them, got some information. They pushed outside of the areas that had been searched already, conducted a search. Somehow or another, they linked up with the bio father, who supposedly got a tip from somewhere. Whether or not it was credible or not,
The
we don't
bio
know.
father.
But it led them to searching on federal property without permission, which is where we have been informed at some point that there was allegedly a hit on something, but turned out to be nothing. And they were asked to leave the property immediately, or the cops were going to be called, because it was trespassing based off of a tip that the bio father received.
Yeah, to Brian Trasher, VP of Cajun Navy, let's clear it up. Isn't it true this was on federal property that had been closed off? It was a hurricane site earlier. It was also, yes, thank you. And it was also near railroad tracks, and some homeless people had been living there, and apparently one of them had died, and we believe that is what the dogs were hitting on. Is that correct? Mother.
All right, I started in the middle.
And his stepfather, who were in their home with Sebastian when he goes missing.
I got it. Thank you, my dear.
To both of the
Appreciate you.
Thank you for being with us. I want to go straight back to when Sebastian goes missing. Miss Proudfoot, I understand that the day before, which would have been Sunday, if I've got the information correct, that you guys went out, you went to dinner, you went to somewhere, I believe you said BJ's, where he had a, quote, colossal popcorn. Then you came home that night, and around 9 p.m., you tell Sebastian to go to bed. He says, okay, and goes to his room. Is that correct?
Yes, ma'am.
That night, I understand from previous statements you've made that you went to bed around midnight. Is that correct?
It is.
And to you, Mr. Proudfoot, Chris Proudfoot, did you also go to bed at midnight, or before or after?
No, ma'am. We went to bed around the same time, because we were on the phone together.
We went to bed about the same time, because we were on the phone together. The way he said that is interesting to me. Listen to that.
Did you also go to bed at midnight, or before or after?
No, ma'am. We went to bed around the same time, because we were on the phone together.
What's Katie's lips?
We went to bed around the same time, because we were on the phone together.
And please excuse any of my questions. I'm simply, please excuse.
Because we were on the phone together. No, ma'am. We went to bed around the same time.
We went to bed about the same time. Then he said, Justin, if you can read my text tonight and check on it, please. I may not have it exact. Okay, of course. That them saying, I mean, Chris technically would know. We have someone in the camper with us.
We were on the phone together.
And please excuse any of my questions. I'm simply trying to find out more about that night. Do you two sleep in the same bedroom?
He wasn't actually in the home at all that weekend.
You were not home.
No,
okay.
Ma'am.
So where were you, Mr. Proudfoot?
I was in Memphis, Tennessee.
How far away is that?
3 hours and 37 minutes from doorstep to doorstep.
And what were you doing in Memphis?
Working.
Where do you work?
I'm currently
Mama
working,
fits over
or
there,
was
like,
working at the St.
next
Jude
one.
Children's Hospital construction project.
Yes, I'm very familiar with St. Jude's. You said you were working there.
Thank you, my dear. And Moose, how you doing, my love? Her blink increases when she's lying. Yes. Katie, was Chris home that night? It's like, calm down, Katie. Calm down, Katie. She's like blinking and like, Justin, did you see recent possible sighting of Layla Santinello? No, but that would be absolutely amazing. That would be absolutely amazing. God, I hope so.
Where do you work?
I'm currently working, or was working at the St. Jude Children's Hospital.
I would give anything to know why his job was up in the air. Up in the air. Was it because it was a no call, no show? Was it because he said he was at work and he wasn't? Is it because he was throwing a fit that morning? Is it because he showed up early and got a call an hour before and said, sorry, can't come in? But he's down here in Mississippi. Cranes are up in the air. Yes. Yes, Jesse. But he's down. They're down in Mississippi. Okay, baby. Thank you. Saying we're down here 3.5 hours away. My job's up in the air. But they're just down there camping away. Not around law enforcement who you would, like, I would be probably wrapped around a law enforcement officer's leg the entire time, asking them any update. They want to be 3.5 hours away where his job's up in the air. Okay.
Construction project.
Perfect sense.
Yes, I'm very familiar with St. Jude's. You said you were working there. Are you no longer working there?
Right now, that's up in the air.
Mm-hmm.
Well, you've been gone ever since Sebastian went missing. So I understand. When you are home, do you two sleep in the same bedroom?
Yes, ma'am.
Yes, ma'am.
Is this a 3-bedroom home?
Yes, ma'am.
So there are private investigators, from what I understand, say 100% Chris was at work at 5:15 that morning. They say 100% without a doubt. They verified it. Either way, if he was at work at 5:15 that morning, I want to know why. If you didn't go to sleep till about 1 o'clock in the morning, and it takes probably 30 minutes for you to get up, change, brush your teeth, get coffee, and 15 minutes to drive to your work. That's 45 minutes. You got up at 4:45, which means you got 3.5 hours of sleep when you could have gotten more than that. And you had all weekend to talk to your honey boo boo, right? Why would you call her at almost 10 o'clock when you got to be in bed early? Doesn't make sense.
Where is your room as it relates to Sebastian's room?
It's on the opposite end of the house. The master bedroom's on one side, and the other 2 bedrooms are on the other side of the house.
Exactly, Mohawk. You cannot enter that job site at 5:15. It has security guards and fencing 10 feet tall. You can't get in there till 7. You cannot start until 7.
Okay, so your master bedroom is on one side of the house and Sebastian's room is on the other side of the house. Is that correct?
Yes, ma'am.
Okay.
Thank you, Sandy.
Now, you have a third bedroom that I believe you keep for your other daughter. Is that correct?
Yes, ma'am.
Is that Faith? Is your other daughter named Faith?
Yes, ma'am.
And, I never understood this. And it's Faith. There's the master bedroom and 2 other bedrooms. Faith has the second biggest room. And she's like just there on holidays. Never understood that.
Okay. So where is Faith's bedroom as it relates to Sebastian's bedroom?
It's in the back side of the house. Sebastian's bedroom is on the front side of the house.
Okay. So his bedroom.
Sebastian's is on the front side of the house. Next to like the front side of the house on the right if you're standing at the door.
Is away from Faith's bedroom and away from your master bedroom. Is that correct?
Yes, ma'am.
Is Sebastian's room on a top floor or a ground level?
We have a ranch style house. It's a 1.5 story. So everything's flat. And then you have the bonus room above the garage.
Okay. So his is on ground floor, right?
I agree,
Yes, ma'am.
Yes, ma'am.
Okay. That morning, was there any sign of a break-in through a window, a front door, a back door, a sliding glass door, anything at all?
No,
Nope.
ma'am.
Okay. No sign of forced entry. Was anything taken from the home at all?
Not that we could find anything. We couldn't find anything missing.
I want to circle back to Sebastian's shoes regarding if anything was missing.
Well, probably because, Chris threw out all of his stuff. Right? Like his 2 cats, a snake, stuff that was in his room. If he didn't have it where Chris wanted it, it was thrown out.
Do you have a burglar alarm?
No, ma'am.
For the life of me, confirm CPU. Sierra, I didn't confirm that Chris was at work. There is allegedly private detectives that said private investigators said that Chris was at work, confirmed at 5:15. How was anybody going to be there to confirm him to be there at 5:15? Second of all, if you install security systems everywhere and you don't have one at your house, okay, honey, thank you. Yeah, the PS said it was confirmed to be at work. That's like, you know, the most ridiculous thing I've ever heard. How do you not have a security system? And then you get another or a security system after your child leaves missing. And you also got a camera on your camper. And when they bought the home, it came with ADT. Sure did. Thank you, Bubble Bath. To see, honey. Yes, your $700,000 home. Yes. Mm-hmm. Unbelievable.
Do you have a Ring doorbell cam?
No, ma'am.
Okay. Have the two of you taken a polygraph?
I have.
I have not.
But you tried, in my opinion, to deceive people that you took a polygraph. The answer is passed. And then once they doubled and then tripled down to get an actual straight answer out of you, you said, what did you say? You said, I didn't say who, I just said one of us or something passed. You said you guys were cleared. There was no indication of anything. That is what you said on your first interview. A laugh a day. I may do a live on that. That's interesting. I have a camera in my fluffy butts habitat and all the bells and whistles. Oh, that's cute. But CP said in an earlier minute that he took. Yes. Yeah, he made it the first time he said it. Yes. Passed. But then it's, oh, I don't need to take. They said I didn't need to take one because where I was. They would have still wanted you to take a polygraph, in my opinion, to see if you know where he's at. Just because you're not physically might have been there doesn't mean you don't know where he's at. The only person we know who actually took a polygraph, much less passed, is Seth. We have no idea if either one of these took a polygraph. We have no idea if any of them passed, other than Seth. That's it.
Would you be willing to?
I've offered and volunteered on many occasions to take a polygraph, and I was told directly by law enforcement, because of my whereabouts, I did not need one.
I understand. Ms. Proudfoot, did you pass your polygraph?
I did.
Those questions out of the way. Was Faith in the home when Sebastian went missing?
No.
No, ma'am.
Does anyone
SL, do you remember me telling you that Chris can make it in 3 hours and 7 minutes? Do you remember me saying that in the very beginning? I said Chris can make it in 3 hours and 7 minutes.
else have a key to your home beside your immediate family?
No.
No, ma'am.
That night, Miss Proudfoot, at midnight when you went to bed, what did you do until midnight?
I had been reading a chapter that I needed to, and I had been talking to my husband on the phone. I was falling asleep on him, so that's when he told me it was around midnight. He told me to go ahead and put the dogs up and go to bed, and that's what I did. I got up, put the dogs where they
I just
sleep.
thought of something else. Okay. All right, let's think about this. Like I said before, when it comes to Chris and Katie, I don't know why Chris would have called Katie or Katie would have called Chris at almost 10 o'clock so they could speak till midnight, right? Why would you call that late when you know you have to be at work the next day? Chris is off on the weekend. We know that. He has told us. We know that. But not only that, of what I just said, but Katie says, I started falling asleep on him, and that's when he told me to go ahead and put the dogs up and go to bed. She just said that. Okay. So if you hadn't been going to sleep, Katie, you just didn't happen to get sleepy. What is Chris? I mean, how long are y'all going to stay on the phone? If you hadn't gotten sleepy, would y'all have talked till 2 in the morning and he had to get up at literally no later than 4:30 to be there at 5:15? You get what I mean? Because she was getting sleepy, she says, that's when he told me to go ahead and go to bed, honey. Put the dogs up, go to sleep. But if she wasn't getting sleepy, are they just going to continue to talk like the whole night through? Is that what they're going to do? Now think about that. She should know if she called him. Chris says he started talking. Yep. 9:45 to 11:45. It was a 2-hour call. But if she hadn't started getting sleepy around midnight, were they just going to continue to just, sit there like the two little love bugs that they seem to be on the phone when they were having problems? as well. So you're just going to continue. They would have just talked the whole night through, just like they were when they just started dating. Sleep what sleep when you're in love?
And then I myself went to bed.
Where do they sleep?
They have a big pen.
A pen, is it inside or outside?
Inside.
Inside. That reminds me of another question. Do you guys have a motion sensor light or lights on the outside of your house?
Yes, we do have lights on the outside of our house.
Did they activate that night?
They're not motion censored. We have lights.
Were they on that night?
No,
okay.
Ma'am.
Were they on that night? So the lights were out the whole night?
Yes, ma'am. We don't typically turn the floodlights on.
Oh, thank you, Alafide.
Were there any lights outside the house on at all?
Just my little solar lights that we have in the garden.
There's two lights on the side of the house above the garage that are on at all times.
Watch, Katie.
Oh, yeah, those are on.
Oh, there's
fake as shit. That is fake as press on nails, Katie. Watch her. We got lights. No, we got lights outside on too. Oh, yeah. Those are on. Thanks. Thanks, honey.
Solar lights that we have in the garden.
There's two lights on the side of the house above the garage that are on at all times.
Oh, yeah, those are on.
Oh, there's a light above the garage that's on at all times?
There's two. Yes, ma'am.
Okay. So those lights were on?
Yes, ma'am.
Okay. The reason I'm asking is because I heard you say earlier, Mr. Proudfoot, that your neighbors have been very, very forthcoming with their Ring camera info. And I was trying to determine if any lights were on, what, if anything, they may have caught. But I understand from your previous interviews that nothing of any evidentiary value was caught. And also, in another statement you gave, I understand that the video of the two flashlights, and I'm saying that with air quotes, that's not exactly what that was at all. We now don't believe that two flashlights were observed around your home. Is that correct?
Yes. You're very correct.
Okay.
You're very correct, he says on that. That's the one that you're very correct on. When they talk about those lights outside and those people that's outside, that your child, you say, may have left with a flashlight and a car is there and it doesn't go down the road to any particular home, but there's these flashlights coming from the direction, from the common area of your house. And if I was a parent and I thought my kid took a flashlight and I saw, a flashlight with a human being attached to it or some sort of light, maybe a phone or whatever, and it was coming from my house, I would be like, y'all need to check up on this. Y'all need to check up on this. Nothing to see here. You are very correct. Chris says you are very, very correct. Thank you, Chris. Thank you so much. Sugar water. Sugar water.
That's not And also, in another statement you gave, I understand that the video of the 2 flashlights, and I'm saying that with air quotes, that's not exactly what that was at all. We now don't believe that 2 flashlights were observed around your home. Is that correct?
Yes.
You're very correct.
Okay.
They both answered that one, didn't they?
Question regarding your
that interesting?
vehicles. Ms. Proudfoot, what make and model do you drive?
I drive a Infinity SUV.
Year?
2017.
Now watch Chris. Watch this.
And sir, what do you drive?
I drive a diesel truck, Chevrolet.
Year?
I don't remember off the top of my head. I think it's a 2021, I think.
2021. Listen. I do my eyeliner while I'm going down the road half the time at a stoplight. And I know the year of my car. You know the year of your diesel truck. Kind of makes me wonder who that truck, or sorry, that vehicle is, where the flashlight is. Doesn't it you? Kind of makes me wonder. Mother Diesel Truckin'. He doesn't know the year of his diesel truck. You know what year it is. Katie, Nancy is asking, Katie, what year? Because she's a prosecutor. You got to understand this. She just asked them very strategically about the flashlights. Okay? The flashlights. And then she says, you are very correct. They both say, you are very correct. Well, Chris says, you are very correct. And Katie says, yes, ma'am. Right? Nancy knows the answers to the questions. Yes. Then the next question is, what year, make, and model do you drive, Katie? Katie says it. Katie knows the year of her vehicle. Katie knows the year of her vehicle, for God's sakes. Chris knows what puts a general out there, but he's not wanting to really say the year either. Why do you think she goes from those flashlights to the car question in that order? Why do you think she does that? She's wanting to know what they're going to say about the flashlight. She knows they're going to say no. But then she wants to know, oh, nothing out there with those flashlights. Nothing out those. Yes, C. Taylor. Yes. But now I want to know what you're driving. Want to know what you're driving. Chris is a little uncomfortable in that question, in my opinion. Because, in my opinion, that vehicle is a truck. She just popped your colossal popcorn. She knows, Nancy knows how to do an interview. She's a prosecutor. They know how to box you fuck in. That's what they know how to do. Right? Whenever you have, respectfully, a lot of YouTubers, and you have even the media, the first interview that Chris and Katie sat down with, right? They're always feeding them the answer or the question. They'll be like, you were at BJ's on Sunday, weren't you? That's not the way you ask someone a question whenever you need to get as much information out of them as possible. You don't feed it to them. You never give them. You ask them, what did you do that day? Where did you go? Right? That's it. The first lady who gave the interview, I mean, I really think she just kind of thought Sebastian, I guess, walked out on his own, because, I mean, she's a very sweet lady, but she just did not know how to give an interview respectfully. Right? Person, place, time.
So your Infinity SUV was parked in the garage or outside the garage that night, Miss Proudfoot?
In the garage.
The reason Nancy will do another interview with them. Absolutely. It's up to Chris and Katie.
Garage. And Mr. Proudfoot, your vehicle was on location.
And the reason is, in my opinion, is because Chris is not going to take that polygraph. No, Sandy, I was talking about the first, not the first interview Chris done. Not with Duchess. I'm talking about the one with the news, the first media, that woman that did the first, not the hands interview, but the one with them both sitting. I think they're in their dining room. No concrete questions were asked.
Location in Memphis, is that correct?
Correct.
Okay. So there's only one car at the home, is that right?
There was actually a work vehicle in the driveway at the time as well, but it hasn't moved. We can't give out that information because we don't have permission from her work.
I don't understand that. What?
About the make and model of the vehicle.
I have a work van that was also parked in the driveway.
Holly News anchor. Okay.
Why is that if it's out in the driveway where people can see it, why is that privileged information?
We just don't have permission from her company to divulge that information.
Have you asked?
No, ma'am, we have not.
To divulge that information.
Nobody's asked us that.
So that
question,
was
to be honest with you.
okay. So you have a work van. Question to you.
Thank you so much, Sunny Bunny. Really do appreciate 2 months pre-suggestion. Whatever come of the audio recording from a while back. I will tell you this. I believe the audio personally. I think I know where it came from, but I think it's very, in my opinion, it's very similar to what happened with the video, meaning it was not supposed to get out at all. And I do know a few neighbors there, at least 2, maybe 3 have audio. They will not speak to me. They won't speak to anyone. And I think the reason is because they don't want they didn't want that to be out, number 1. And it wasn't supposed to be out, number 2. Sierra, I believe so. Yeah, but I've just left it alone because I cannot confirm something, especially audio, if they won't speak to me. I know they have audio. I do know that. I gotta watch what I say. So I can't tell you that it's real or fake because it's not confirmed to me. You get what I mean? So how long ago, guys? Was it a month ago or so? There was something on Facebook in a group, and I did shit, how do I say it? The neighborhood has a group as well, right? The neighborhood has a group. And there was a person who put out some audio. And it actually, from what I understand, it wasn't mine to begin with. There was a person who put out an audio and I think a video very, 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 very early on in this when Sebastian went missing. And whenever it just sat there in a group for months, a few months. And someone from that group sent it to a few people. And the way it was anyway, they sent it to a few people, and it's very, very hard to understand. Very, very hard to understand. And it was a creator, and you guys always tell me, check this out, check this out, check that out. And so I ended up getting in touch with this creator, and you can hear you can hear who it sounds like, right? Like, there is two voices in that, and there is some people can't understand it. I listened to it so many times. Like, I was driving several hours one day and I listened to it over, and yes, law enforcement has it. They sure do. Yeah. Now, when we first got it, we thought that it was from, well, not we, she, the lady who originally had it, thought it was from the house on the corner. And I spoke with someone in the neighborhood, and it wasn't. And then Nick Barris, everyone was asking Nick, and Nick was like, no, there's no audio that came with that. And he's right, there wasn't. But that's when also a lady who Nick was only given a very small portion of the, just the lights and stuff. House on the corner has no audio. Absolutely. Absolutely. But I will say this. There is someone in that group who regularly puts out video and with audio in that group. They have a neighborhood watch group or whatever. I believe the audio personally, but I'm never going to like the person that it was sent to, like if I can't speak to the person that I'm almost certain one of the two houses it came from, if law enforcement told them to not speak about it, if it wasn't supposed to be out, just the same as the truck video with the lights isn't supposed to be out. Whenever Eric Craddock asked Nick Barris, where did you get that at? I knew where Nick got it at. I was the one that told where Nick got it at, actually. So I don't think the neighbors will speak. And so there's that. It's quite interesting. Law enforcement did call back I believe I need to talk to her because I'm pretty sure that they called her back about that. So, but you can, in my opinion, tell who it is. You can, it's hard to understand. I need to do some testing on some cameras and stuff, but yeah, if I could just get that person to talk to me, that would be like, there is some, there's neighbors who know a hell of a lot more. A hell of a lot more. A lot more. Oh, it does. It absolutely does. Lisa, and it's so interesting. You put the go home because someone was talking. I was speaking to someone about not the audio, but a video about in the neighborhood. We haven't seen that all video, but this person was allegedly like go home, like pointing like go, like motioning go home. So I don't know. I'm never going to tell you something. I'm not going to, you know, some people discount the audio, and they have every right to, because there's nothing that I or the creator that originally had it, I can't prove it to anybody. I wish I could. Uh I really wish I could. Uh it's just one of those things. You have to either uh believe it or not. Could have been. It's a lot of people thought, well, maybe it's a spirit box. I don't, respectfully, if you do them, that's fine. Kumbaya, I'm happy for you. I don't do spirit boxes or anything like that. And they were like, because it's very hard to understand. Not most, but a lot of people can't understand it, and that's because they're listening for the high tones when they need to be listening. I think it was for the low tones. I haven't listened to it for a while. And yeah, it's but you can tell it's a conversation. It's a conversation. Oh, it's 1,000% not a spirit box, because a spirit box, in my opinion, is really just a radio spinning, going. It's like the seek button we used to have on our radio, and it would just seek the next station. But this is it's a conversation. It's one of those that it's like, what? Go, but you don't hear it that clearly. So yeah, it's definitely, it's 1,000% not from any spirit box or anything like that. I mean, I believe so anyways, guys, I'm going to jump off. We'll finish this tomorrow. I've been on live twice, 3. I've done like 6 hours of lives. That's crazy. Yeah, it's like, I don't know. I may do a members only live on something like that, but it will be, and sorry guys if I do one like this, because it'll be one where only members will get a notification, because it is, kind of things that people have like a really strong opinion either way on. So there's that. I'll think about it. I love you guys. You guys are amazing. The timeline is really hard, or is it just me? Well, I was looking for something for that timeline. We'll do a part 4. We'll get to it. Thank you guys so much. You could have chosen to be anywhere for the last few hours, and you chose to hang out with me and support me. And I can't thank you enough, truly, every single day. Thank you truly for your time. To my mods, members, and chat, thank you all. I'll read that email for sure. Get some good rest. Take care of yourself. See you guys tomorrow, Lord willing. Good night, and God bless.